You are a worthless pansy ass who is now weeping and slobbering all over my drum set like a 9-year-old girl.
So how's it going with the studio band?
Good. Yeah, I think he likes me more now.
I push people beyond what's expected of them. I believe that is an absolute necessity.
I want to be one of the greats. And because I'm doing that, it's going to take up more of my time.
All right, so talk to us about you play, you know, a very talented drummer and who goes through basically hell to reach perfection. How did you prepare for this role?
I prepared well. I've played drums since I was like 15, so I felt pretty good behind a drum kit. But I'd never played jazz before. Jazz is kind of the, I naturally picked up drums, and I can, you could put a lot of people on a drum kit, and they could play like,
Right.
But for jazz, you can't fake it. You do need to put the hours into practicing, and so that's what I did. I started taking lessons for like 4 hours a day. For 3 days a week for 3.5 weeks. So not a ton of time, but enough to where I could feel comfortable kind of holding the stick traditionally and kind of moving around the kit and getting the posture down. That's the jazz thing. You just got to have that the posture. All those guys are just right over their their hi-hat and snare. So
Right, get that jazz swag down.
yeah, exactly.
Now,
jazz swag.
5, 6, 7. Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go. 5, 6, 7. You're rushing. Here we go. Ready? Okay. 5, 6, and. Dragging just a hair. Wait for my cue. 5, 6, 7. Rushing. 5, 6, and. Dragging. 5, 6, and. Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
I don't know.
Sure you do.
The tempo?
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
I don't know.
Start counting.
5, 6, 7.
In 4, damn it, look at me.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Now, was I rushing or was I dragging?
I don't know.
Count again.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Rushing or dragging?
Rushing.
So you do know the difference.
Now, talking about faking it, how much of the blood, the sweat, the tears were real in those scenes? I mean, your fingers were bloody.
Well, I do. It is a real tear at some point. The blood is mostly not mine. I don't know whose it is. and yeah, the sweat. A lot of the sweat is real, just because drumming. If it's if it's hot, which a lot of film sets are with the lights, and you're playing a 10-minute drum solo, like you're not gonna finish it looking suave, or at least you shouldn't. I mean, you look at all the drummers and they're covered in sweat, and they're going crazy back there. So yeah, a lot of that sweat is mine.
Okay, now talking about that one tear that you just mentioned, what was going on in your head, and what scene was that where it got real?
I was just thinking about the Phillies season this year, and I just instantly started crying.
Oh, really?
That was a pretty easy one.
Okay, gotcha. Now, also talk to us about, this guy, your teacher, JK, pushes you to some extremes to the point where you want to quit. After doing this movie, what do you take away from it, and what's your opinion? Like, is there a point where you do go too far?
I mean, they kind of. This guy wants to be great, and he wants to be one of the greats. So it doesn't really, despite the fact that JK is, pushing him. He's not going to quit. And there's a scene in the movie where Andrew, you know, I was talking to Fletcher, his teacher, and he says, well, you know, isn't there a point where you can push somebody too far and that they'll be discouraged from ever becoming one of the greats, you know, like Charlie Parker, and J.K. says, no, you know, that's, Charlie Parker would never be discouraged. And so that's where it comes from, man. It just comes from you. If you truly believe in something, you believe that you are meant for something, it doesn't matter what anybody's going to tell you. Like, you will not, you know, you will not quit. And if you do quit, then it was never, you know, it was never, you were never meant for it anyway.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. Well said. We had one question. I probably should have asked the director this, but where does Whiplash come from? What inspired that title?
Well, Whiplash is the name of the song that's in the movie. That's a really, you know, popular jazz standard that we play. And then it's also kind of taken a double entendre because of, you know, kind of just the, you know, the dynamic between the two characters. I think that kind of like the physical, the pulling and, you know, taking back and forth, and so I guess the whiplash.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're watching BLACKTREE on TV, only on Soul of the South.